Hello, everybody. You're listening to Fantasy NBA Good, the greatest fantasy basketball podcast of all time. My name is Purity.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ivan, and good to be back.
Yep, this is episode 40. Didn't mention this is episode 40. We are back after a long, not long, maybe a month break.
Maybe I don't remember, but
Yeah,
the break since we're not since the season. Fantasy season stopped is almost 6 months now. And it's probably gonna be another 6 months because they're saying February, March maybe. So it's gonna be 12 months. It's gonna be the longest break that I ever had not playing fantasy basketball, and just hoping it's going to be December as they said, but it looks like that is not possible. So I don't know.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's the situation. Especially, I know out there, if you're playing fantasy, you're thinking like, oh, what am I gonna do? Those are all those months. What should I do with my time? Which I love.
So then you go and play another
fantasy.
10 fantasy sports like Purity does, like Fantasy Premier League, like Fantasy World Rally Championship. You play fantasy swimming. If there is fantasy swimming, I think you like.
Yes, why not? Find all the fantasy out there that you can find and play them. It doesn't matter.
Fantasy marathon.
Yes, play all of them. If there is even a volleyball fantasy, play. If there is handball, any sport.
I'm sure there isn't such a fantasy.
Shall we start the podcast? Let's get to the news, shall we? What is going on?
What is going on is that Steve Nash signed with
Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn Nets. I was about to say New Jersey Nets.
Oh.
And I don't know what do you think about he's a coach without head coach. Well, yeah, without head coach experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that he doesn't have any experience in coaching, but
I think he'll do great. I really think so.
I don't know. I'm like, it's with these new head coaches, I think it's always like 50-50. And sometimes it can work out. It can be really, really good with some coaches. Like,
but he has been a player, so that's like the best experience ever. He knows what to do. I think that's he's gonna be great, and I think that's what Brooklyn Nets need. He's gonna.
What's good, if you wanna, if you were a player and you want to become a coach, it's best if you were a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
That's much better than if you were a center, because you were already a coach on a court, so the transition and you understand the game much better than someone who is center, or someone who doesn't have so many responsibilities as a point guard, playmaker as we call it here.
Maybe right.
So it can go this way, that way. You see with Steve Nash, it was good. Like we have examples in here in Serbia, with Željko Obradović, who is the best European coach. In his first season, he was first season he just stopped playing basketball and he became a coach. He won what is called now EuroLeague,
Mm-hmm.
So it can go both ways. But they're saying they brought him to establish good atmosphere in Nets, good relationship between their two stars,
Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, and I don't know, like basically to babysit them.
Uh-huh.
And I remember Shaquille O'Neal saying once, I remember when he said, okay, it's Shaq, you never know when he's serious, when he's not, and like it's not 100% joke what he said. He said like in NBA league you don't need a coach, you need a babysitter. You need someone who are gonna
push them,
not to push them, to like make an atmosphere in a team amongst the players, so they do not fight.
Got it.
So they work together, and he has to please this one, that one. Like he has to keep things in order, so like the whole thing doesn't explode, you know. So
got
this is what. So, well, there is some truth in that.
But that's true, because when players fight, there's so much tension and they cannot play well, you know. So yeah, I think that's true. That's true. Well, we'll see. We'll
And
have to
in
see.
NBA, it's not like in Europe. In Europe, a coach is a god. Like there is no way you don't want to listen to your coach. You refuse to do what you're done. You don't want to listen. Like you can find so many videos on YouTube. Players do not listen what Željko Obradović said. Like they are. You see how he's screaming at them, and like you don't do that in Europe. But in NBA, there's so many, like, well, actually majority teams, players are much more important than coaches. There are just few teams like San Antonio and a few other teams where the coach is more important than the players. So maybe, if I don't know, they probably know something that we don't, because they hired him. No, they're probably convinced that he can keep things in order. And while we are talking about Shaq, there is something. There's funny thing that he said. He was asked.
No, he said, he commented.
He said, what did he say?
He said that about Goran
Dragic. He was talking about Goran
Dragic.
And he said the country he's from, he's one of the top players and top scorers. And then Kenny asked him, what country is that? And Shaq had, I have no idea. And he just continued talking. He was like, I have no idea.
That was funny.
And the funniest thing is that he even played with Dragic, you know. Well, yeah. And
all those time he played with him, he doesn't know where he's from.
He didn't even bother to ask
him, which country are you from? Oh my god, that was funny.
And he's top player and top scorer. Like, first of all, he doesn't play for Slovenia. If I'm not mistaken, I think he quit Slovenia national team a couple of years ago. I think. And second of all, Luka Doncic is also Slovenian, so Goran Dragic is definitely not top scorer and top player in Slovenia anymore. Even if
we have Luka.
So what news do you have from your how do you call it?
From entertainment world, we call it the celebrity world.
NBA entertainment world.
Yes, so we're talking about Devin Booker. He left the bubble, and he was seen with his girlfriend. Of course, now he's dating.
How does he have time to have a girlfriend when he's in front of TV playing video games all the time?
Well, maybe he stopped playing video games. I mean, he has time. Like, there's so much you can do in a day, you know, so many hours you can fill your time. So he's dating this Kendall Jenner, one of the Kardashian. So they were seen together with this Justin Bieber, the singer, and his wife. They were together. They have been camping, going to dinners, even helping. The girlfriend was helping Devin Booker to take his dog to the vet. So they've been together for a couple of months now. So that's what's going around in the entertainment world. That's all.
Do you think his career is done now?
That's what they say. Most people say that as soon as you get involved with the Kardashian, you're not gonna play well. Look at Tristan Thompson of Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he better. My advice is Devin Booker to run away from the Kardashian.
I hope they break up as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Before the new season starts, because I have him in my dynasty league.
Yes,
so
and we don't want him sucking. We want him to be the best the best.
And before I forget, there is news on Jonathan Isaac.
Oh yeah, that's true.
As you know, he had the operation, and they're saying officials from Magic, they said he's gonna miss the entire 2020-2021 season. So
If you're
if you
playing,
are playing redraft league, you obviously don't care that much.
Yes.
But if you are someone like me who's playing dynasty league and you have him in your dynasty league as one of the best young prospects and like great fantasy basketball player, then
you have to drop him. Find another player.
that's okay. I'm not gonna
You know,
advise. Yeah, because
I would drop him.
I have 3 injury slots, so I'm not. I
Ah.
don't know if I'm gonna drop him because
So you're gonna wait a whole season.
I don't know what I'm
The
gonna do.
whole-
Okay, so
Okay, I mean, everyone knows what's their best in their league, so that's
do
the news.
not listen to
Don't listen
Kurt.
to me. Listen to your heart. Now let's talk about players who are playing really well during the playoffs, and we believe that they will take the next step in the next season, and their average draft position is gonna rise. So we're gonna start by the highest to the lowest. Let's go.
Yes, we're gonna start with Jason Tatum, and he already took this next step, and I think next season he's gonna be even better. And these playoffs, some people actually thought he's gonna be really bad in this resumption league, because he was joking. He said, he doesn't have a gym in his house, so people were like, he was doing nothing during, lockdown. But obviously that's not the case. So, and his ADP is gonna rise. It's gonna be like the first round, somewhere around middle first round. So if you want Jason Tatum, you will have to pay the price. If you are starting Dynasty League next season, I think it's a good price to pay. If you want to start building your team with Jason Tatum, I think you have nothing against it. So these playoffs, he's in the 7 games that he played, 25.4 points, field goals 45.8. He's scoring 3 threes per game while shooting 6.7. That's 44.7 for 3. 1.4 offensive rebounds, 7.9 defensive rebounds. That's 9.3 rebounds in total. 3.4 assists, 0.7 steals, 1.3 blocks, 1.7 turnovers. So the great numbers, like these numbers are great. Many people didn't believe in him, and
I always say fantasy is all about patience. Another guy we're gonna talk about who was also drafted the same year as Jason Tatum is Bam Adebayo.
Yes, Bam Adebayo. I also think that he will also take the next step. He will have even better next season. ADP, of course, is gonna rise for him. Maybe even the late first round, depending how your league is deep. But second round for sure. So he's also young, 23 years old, playing great in these playoffs. In 7 games, he's been scoring 15.3 points per game, field goals 51.3, not shooting, not taking threes, free throw percentage 85.3, offensive rebounds 3.3, defensive rebounds 9.1, that's 12.4 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 1 steal and 1 block, and 2.6 turnovers per game. Just a great season for Bam Adebayo. great playoffs. They're doing really good in playoffs, and yeah, next season if you want him, it's gonna be a second round pick probably. So yeah.
Next guy is Donovan Mitchell, also drafted the same year.
Yeah, all of these guys. 2017 draft 2017. I also think he's gonna be better next season. I'm not so sure that he's gonna take such a big step as Ben and Jason, but he's been really good, especially in these playoffs. He was excellent. He was carrying Utah, and also next year maybe same story like with Bam, like early second round, something like that. We'll see. So also played 7 games, 36.3 points per game, field goals 52.9. He's been scoring 4.7 threes per game, taking 9.1. That's 51.6 for 3. Free throws 94.8. Did I say field goals? Yeah, I did. Offensive rebounds 0.9, defensive rebounds 4.1. That's in total 5 rebounds per game, 4.9 assists per game, 1 steal, 0.3 blocks, and 4.1 turnovers for Donovan Mitchell.
Now we're gonna talk about Jamal Murray, who was drafted in the 2016.
Yes, but he's also 23 years old as these guys. He's been really great in these playoffs, and Nuggets can thank Jokic and him that they advanced into next round.
Yeah.
Next season, this season people expected much more from him, and he didn't deliver. He had kind of similar season that previous, and that might be your chance if people. Everything depends on these playoffs. Everything depends how he's gonna play. If the Nuggets are gonna push to finals, and depending what Nuggets do and how he plays, so he might. Well, it's hard that he will go on the radar, and that you can get him cheap, but like you never know, because I think he's going to take the next step. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that he's going to be that he's going to finally gonna take that leap and be much better than actually what he's gonna be as he was expected to play this season. That's I'm expecting next season to be this breakout season for him. This and maybe maybe you can get him much later than what is realistic, what will be realistic, so you will have to pay attention and see where he's gonna go. I don't know. I really cannot predict. I don't know. Maybe late second round, maybe early third round. I just don't know. Like, it's too early. We're talking like 6 months in advance, and like I don't know.
Yeah, 6 months. A lot can change.
I'm like talking. I'm willing to risk with him. Like if it's something as I said, late second, early third, I would do it. And I've been risking with him for years. Even have him in a my dynasty league, so maybe I'm not objectives about him. But okay, let's see his stats. He played 8 games in this year's playoffs. 29.1 points per game, field goals 53%. He's scoring 4.3 threes per game, taking 8.5. That's 50% beyond 3-point line. Free throws 92%. Offensive rebound 1.4, defensive rebound 3.9. In total, that's 5.3 rebounds. Assist 6.3. Turnovers 2 turnovers per game. Steals 0.6 and blocks 0.9. Yeah, maybe in steal and block department, especially in steal department, he's gonna be better. So we'll see. I have hopes in Jamal.
The last guy we're gonna talk about is Michael Porter Jr., also from Denver Nuggets, and he was drafted in 2018 and he didn't play at all. So basically, this is like his rookie season.
Yes, Porter Jr. was good in this resumption, playing well in playoffs, and basically you should see him as a calculated risk on next year's draft. What I mean by that, he's the type of guy that you should draft. I mean, all of the players that you draft somewhere around 75, and after that are the guys that you should risk with, because it can pay off. It's better to take some young guy that can, instead of you're drafting him at position 80, ADP, his ADP is 80, and I mean you're drafting him at 80, and at the end of the season he finishes at, I don't know, 50, 60. So like this is instead of taking someone who is 80 and he's gonna finish is like 80, maybe 75 or somewhere around 80. So you didn't benefit from that player. So it's better to take this calculated risk with guys like these young guys, like he's gonna go probably somewhere after 70, 75. I don't know where it ends up with him. It can be from 70 until, I'm not sure. I think this will help him a lot. It will push his ADP this whole bubble period and playoffs, and also it depends on his team, on Denver, if they're gonna push through the second round and what's gonna happen. But he's been playing well. He played 8 games, points 11.1, field goals 42.3, scoring 1.9 threes per game, percentages for 35.7, free throws 72.7, offensive rebounds 0.9, defensive rebounds 6, that's 6.9 rebounds, assists 0.8, steal 0.5, block 0.4, turnovers 0.4. So I think that we should expect from Michael Porter Jr. to be better next season. I think that's the only thing that we can be sure of. I don't think I don't think something will happen. They waited for him the whole season, and I think that his spot in this team is well, it's hard to say guaranteed, but I think he's good.
I agree,
considering
100%.
his position, and I just like, even if he doesn't take some huge leap, if you can get him somewhere late, it's a good deal. So he he's the last guy that we're gonna talk about today.
Now let's talk about a basketball movie that we watched, and there haven't been many basketball movies, so this one is the recent one that was released in March 2020 this year, and it's called The Way Back, starring Ben Affleck. So the story is basically about Jack Cunningham, who is played by Ben Affleck, who is an alcoholic and a construction worker. And him and his wife lost a baby, and because of that he turned into alcohol, and his wife couldn't take it, and of course he left her, and all of his families.
No, she left
him. Yeah, that's all.
Why would he left her?
Yeah,
if he's
sorry.
an alcoholic?
She left him as a result of he couldn't stop drinking, and his friends and families were concerned about his drinking, even telling him to stop, but instead he's kept getting tired of hearing that, so he stopped even seeing any of his family or friends. He was just alone and drinking. Then one day he got a call from a Catholic high school that he attended to, and where he was like the best player there. And
so there is this bishop who is like
Father. Father Divine. That's what he's called.
He's like a headmaster of the school.
Yes,
and he has been the headmaster when back in the days when Ben Affleck or whatever he was playing. What was the name? His name in the movie, Jack something.
Jack Cunningham.
Yeah, when he played
and won championships for them.
And he was the best player. So I think like maybe even the MVP of the league. I'm not sure, but he was the best player. Like they kind of even have
his jersey
and all his awards and everything. He's like
trophies and everything
Hall of
that
Famer for them.
So he asked him to.
And since he graduated, they have never qualified for playoffs.
That's right.
Regional playoffs, never.
So the team is really bad, except two players that they have.
He called him.
He called him and told him to step and be the head coach of their basketball team, because the previous coach had a heart attack and he's sick, so he suffered a heart attack. He couldn't. So Jack accepts the job, of course. And he was there was another assistant coach who introduced him to the players and basically telling him about the team and everything, so he can get familiar.
Team is bad.
The
team is really bad,
and
they don't even have 12. They don't even have 12 guys.
They
have like how many?
6 players.
No, I think 8 players.
Okay, 8.
I think if I can remember, and like on most of them, only like one guy is really good, and they have like this guy who is center who is decent. So basically, like really bad players, and they won only one game. One game. That's
So Jack started coaching them and giving them confidence, tell them that like this guy was really good. He told them, you're good, you should not think that you're not, just keep playing well, and then he made him a team captain. So
things started going into good direction for him. But then
and then they started winning games after a while. They started
winning games, and they were about to qualify for the playoffs.
Yes.
But I cannot remember, why did he start drinking again?
He just went to his regular bar and started drinking.
Yeah, but he met his wife. He went to see his friend in the hospital, right?
Yes. And their grief really disturbed him, and he couldn't take it, so he went straight to the bar and started drinking again. And so he did.
And he met his wife and met his friend whose, I think, son or daughter was in hospital. Yeah. So he remembered, I don't know, right? Remember what happened to his son?
Yes.
Right? His son deceased. So he started drinking again, and he was drinking even during
during practice, and
before practice, yeah.
So and then
he was missing the practices. He was coming drunk, so they
fired.
Okay, we should like stop here. So like we don't want to tell
the whole movie.
So yeah, movies. It's okay. It's not.
It's really good movie. It got a really
great
reviews.
I've seen much better basketball movies, but since this is the only basketball movie that's like it's really about basketball. Okay, we watch Uncut Gems.
Yes.
And it's kind of about basketball, but this movie is like really about basketball. So yeah, if you want to watch something, the way back.
The way back. That is all we have for you on this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we promise as soon as we have any fantasy news, we will be back and we will record for you as soon as possible. So don't forget, you can find us on our social networks. That is Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for Fantasy NBA GOAT.
Yes, and if you want to listen to our podcast and you don't have any podcatcher installed, just go to this address, anchor.fm/Fantasy NBA GOAT. But if you have any podcatcher like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, for our Serbian listeners, so you can also find us at Podcast RS, or literally any other podcatcher or podcast library. You can find us. Just search for Fantasy NBA GOAT, subscribe to our podcast, and do not miss any episodes.
Yes, and our website address is fantasynbagoat.weebly.com, and you can email us.
Weebly spelled with W-E-E, those are two E's, B-L-Y.
Yes, and you can also listen to our podcast over there on our website, and also you can email us at fantasynbagoat@gmail.com, and till next episode, take care. See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening.
So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And what can I say? Mamba out.